Hey and welcome, this is Rob from JVBroker.com, and in today's little video I want to talk about a few of the things you need to take care of and you need to think about when you enter a new JV partnership and if you start working with a new JV partner. Alright, so you got a new joint venture partner, a new joint venture relationship, a new big affiliate promoting your products, and you're all happy and excited about all the good things that will come out of that. And hopefully things turn out well, but we are seeing a lot of people in our daily business where things turn out not so well for several reasons. And I want to share some of those reasons with you, and I want to tell you what you should be careful about when working with a new joint venture partner. So I keep telling this over and over again. Joint ventures are all about I scratch your back and you scratch my back. So it's all about I do something for you and then you do something in return for me. Obviously, that's the nature of a joint venture deal. Now, when it comes to that, you need to be aware of a few things, and many people are not aware of that, and they run into issues, especially when working with larger partners and with new partners they haven't worked with in the past. So for example, before you start mailing anything, you should be very clear about with your partner what you will get in return. So it might be that you have a very active list of, let's say, 20,000 or 50,000 buyers. And in your first discussion with the other guy, he said, look, I also have a list of 50,000, which is great. So you mail out to your 50,000 buyers. The other guy gets a lot of purchases from those mailings, and he gets a lot of signups for his list. But then when it's time for him to mail out to his list with your products, you find out that you're not getting that many sales, that you find out that you're not getting as many signups as you would have expected. And then when you talk to that guy, you find out that those 50,000 people on his list, they were not buyers, or they haven't been mailed to in a while, or they have been mailed to over and over again and mailed to death over the past couple of weeks and months. So before you do anything and before you do any kind of reciprocal mailing, be very sure about the conditions. So make sure you're checking on how big the list is. That's what most people do. But also check how active that list is. Is that list a list of buyers, or is it just a list of leads? How active are those leads? How often have they been mailed to? What have they been mailed to? What kind of products have they been purchasing? Because that's all important. And also it might be that he has a list of 50,000 buyers, which has just received the right amount of mailings. They're very active, they're very loyal. And that matches your list of 50,000 buyers, which are also very active and very loyal. But the problem is that your list is used to buying, let's say, $500 products, while his list is only used to buying $5 products, for example. So there might be a mismatch in the buying capacity between those two lists, and that's also a problem, even if everything else is right, and even if there's no bad intention of that guy. It's just that the characteristics of your two lists are so different that you will run into issues when doing those kinds of you mail for me, I mail for you deals. Another thing you should always do before you mail out anything is have a look at what they are doing actually. So sign up to the lists and have a look at a couple of mails they're sending out. Is it the quality of mails and the quality of communication that you would expect for your list? Is it the kind of content that makes sense for you? Is it the kind of style that makes sense for you? So if your people are used to, let's say, a very traditional way, a very conservative kind of mailing, and that dude is sending out all crazy stuff and I don't know, cat pictures, whatever, and it's just too colloquial, that might be a mismatch that's also not too good for you or for the other party. Another thing that's very important to check on, but not many people are doing this because they kind of expect that to be the case, but be careful about that. Make sure that the other list has been generated in a legal way, so that it's not some sort of shady co-registration. Make sure it's not some kind of bot list or whatever, because people might not tell you that that's the case, but then when you start out promoting your products, you are actually running into legal issues here if those lists have not been generated in the proper way, and especially with the changes in law, for example, in Canada. If you're sending unsolicited mails to Canadian people, there are very hefty fines for that, and then people will go after you as the product owner, even if you haven't mailed that list. No, their lawyers will just, if somebody, it just needs to be that somebody has that somebody is a lawyer, just very simple. Somebody is a lawyer with too much time on their hands, and they have the feeling that you're doing some shady stuff there just because somebody else mailed out your product to them and they haven't opted in for it. Then you're in for a big surprise, and then you're facing big legal fees. And even if you manage to get it all sorted out at the end, it's going to cost a lot of money. It's going to cost a lot of nerves. And you really don't want to do that. So always make sure to ask the questions, get some proofs of how the list is being generated and how the contacts and how the leads are being generated, and double check that. It's absolutely worth the little bit of effort it requires. And then the last thing that you want to take care of, and I don't see a lot of people doing that, check on the support of the other party. Because first of all, your support should be able to handle everything that's coming in. So if somebody who has a big list mails out quite successfully and you're doubling, tripling, or quadrupling or whatever your current sales, is your support ready to handle that? Because you don't want to make anyone angry by not being able to provide the support for the products that you're selling. And that can be really very damaging to any relationship if you cannot handle that correctly. But also make sure, if you are selling to somebody else's list, check on their support. So do some test buys, give their support staff a call, send them an email, and see how they react. Do they react at all? Do they react in time? Do they react in a competent way? Because there's nothing worse than selling your product to other people's list, and then something goes wrong, and then your product gets a bad reputation because somebody else doesn't have the support under control. So always make sure to do that. Always make sure to check on supports. Always be honest and ask, can you handle this capacity? Can you handle the amount of refunds that you might be getting? Can you handle the amount of questions that you might be getting? And of course, it might be the case that you are taking care of that, and you set it up in a way that all the support is channeled through you. But then again, make sure that you have the capacities, make sure that your team is ready for it, and you don't want any bad surprises here. All right, so this was just a couple of things. I hope this was very helpful to you. If you want to learn more about that, we have a very interesting webinar on our webpage, JVBroker.com, where we talk about not only the partnership side of things, but all the other things you need to think of when entering joint ventures. All the things you need to have in place to be ready for, especially large joint ventures. And we're also going to talk about how you find those great joint venture partners that will help you to bring your business into a whole new dimension. So that's it for this video. Thank you very much for watching this. It really was a pleasure doing this for you, and I'll see you in the next video.